Olivia was known for her bright smile and easygoing nature. She was the kind of girl who could make anyone laugh, and she loved to be surrounded by friends. Yet, beneath that happy exterior, Olivia was hiding something, a secret she had been carrying for too long. It started with small lies, the kind that didn't seem to matter at first. Olivia told her parents that her schoolwork was going well when it wasn't. She told her friends that she couldn't hang out because she had family obligations when, in reality, she just didn't feel like going. The lies felt harmless at first. They even gave her a sense of control over situations she didn't want to face. But the problem with lies is that they tend to grow. And before long, Olivia's small deceptions turned into bigger ones. One morning, Olivia walked into school feeling the weight of her latest lie. She had been skipping her after-school tutoring sessions for weeks now. At first, it was just because she was too tired after school. But eventually, it became easier to lie to her parents and say she had been going. Her grades were slipping, and her teacher, Mr. Thomas, had noticed. "Olivia, can I speak with you for a moment after class?" Mr. Thomas asked as she was packing her bag. Her heart raced. She knew what this was about. She could feel the panic rising inside her as she walked over to his desk. "I've noticed that your grades in math have been dropping," he said, his voice calm but concerned. "Your parents mentioned you've been attending tutoring, but it doesn't seem to be making a difference. Is everything okay?" Olivia's mouth went dry. She could feel the lie forming on her tongue, ready to spill out. "Yes, everything is fine. I've been going to tutoring. I just haven't been feeling well lately, that's all." Mr. Thomas frowned. He didn't look convinced, but he didn't push further. "All right, if you ever need help, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to support you." Olivia nodded quickly and hurried out of the classroom, her heart pounding in her chest. That was too close. She knew she couldn't keep this up much longer, but the thought of telling the truth terrified her. At home that evening, her parents asked how school was going, as they always did. Olivia forced a smile and told them it was going well, just as she always did. But deep down, the guilt was eating her alive. She had lied so many times that she had lost track of where the truth ended and the lies began. The following week, things took a turn for the worse. The school was hosting a parent-teacher conference, and Olivia knew her parents would be meeting with Mr. Thomas. She spent the entire day at school dreading the evening. She tried to come up with excuses or ways to avoid the inevitable, but no matter how much she tried to plan, she couldn't escape the fact that the truth was about to come out. That night, her parents came home from the conference with serious expressions on their faces. They sat Olivia down at the kitchen table, and her father spoke first. "Mr. Thomas told us you haven't been doing well in math," he said, his voice calm but stern. "He also said you've missed several tutoring sessions." Olivia's heart sank. She stared down at her hands, unable to meet their eyes. She had two choices. She could continue to lie, or she could finally come clean. For a moment, she considered lying again. It would be so easy to say that Mr. Thomas had made a mistake or that she had been sick. But something stopped her. The guilt that had been building inside her for so long was too heavy. She couldn't carry it anymore. With a deep breath, Olivia looked up at her parents. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice trembling. "I haven't been going to tutoring. I've been lying about it, and about a lot of other things." Her mother's face softened, but her father looked disappointed. "Why didn't you just tell us the truth?" he asked, his tone more hurt than angry. "I didn't want to disappoint you," Olivia admitted, tears welling up in her eyes. "I thought if I lied, it would make things easier. But it only made everything worse. Her parents exchanged a glance before her mother spoke. "Olivia, we love you. We're not upset because you're struggling in school. We're upset because you didn't feel like you could come to us for help. Lying only creates more problems, and you've made this situation harder for yourself by not being honest." Her father sighed. "The truth can be hard, but it's always better than a lie. We can help you with your schoolwork, but you have to be truthful with us from now on." Olivia nodded, wiping away her tears. She felt a strange sense of relief. The truth had been scary, but now that it was out, she didn't feel as trapped. For the first time in a long time, she felt like she could breathe. The next day, Olivia went to school with a new sense of resolve. She knew she had to face Mr. Thomas and apologize for lying to him as well. During lunch, she walked up to his desk, feeling nervous but determined. "Mr. Thomas, can I talk to you?" she asked. He looked up and smiled. "Of course, Olivia. What's on your mind?" I wanted to apologize," she began, her voice shaky. "I haven't been going to tutoring like I said I was. I've been lying about it, and I'm really sorry. I want to do better." Mr. Thomas's expression softened, and he nodded. "Thank you for telling me the truth, Olivia. I appreciate your honesty. I know it's not easy to admit when we've made mistakes, but being truthful is always the right choice. We'll figure this out together. I'll help you get back on track." As Olivia walked out of the classroom, she felt a weight lift off her shoulders. For the first time in months, she didn't feel like she was hiding. She didn't feel like she had to constantly cover her tracks or remember what lies she had told to whom. In the weeks that followed, Olivia started attending her tutoring sessions regularly. It wasn't easy at first. She had fallen behind, and catching up was tough. But with Mr. Thomas's help, she slowly began to improve. More importantly, she learned to ask for help when she needed it instead of pretending everything was fine. Her relationship with her parents also grew stronger. Now that she was being honest with them, they were able to support her in ways they hadn't before. They hired a tutor to help her with math outside of school, and they encouraged her to talk to them whenever she felt overwhelmed. But the biggest change came from within Olivia herself. She realized that lying hadn't made her life easier, it had only made it more complicated. Every time she had lied, she had felt more trapped, more anxious, and more distant from the people who cared about her. The truth, while scary, had set her free. One evening, as Olivia sat at the kitchen table working on her math homework, her younger brother, Daniel, came up to her with a worried look on his face. "What's wrong?" she asked, putting down her pencil. "I accidentally broke Mom's favorite vase," Daniel admitted, looking guilty. "I didn't mean to, but now I don't know what to do." Olivia thought for a moment, remembering all the times she had lied to avoid getting in trouble. She could see that Daniel was tempted to do the same. "Just tell the truth," Olivia said gently. "Mom might be upset at first, but she appreciates that you were honest with her. Lying will only make things worse." Daniel looked uncertain but nodded. He went to find their mother, and a few minutes later, Olivia heard their conversation from the other room. As expected, their mom was upset about the broken vase. But after Daniel apologized and explained what had happened, her tone softened. Later that night, Daniel came back to Olivia's room looking relieved. "You were right," he said. "Mom was mad at first, but then she said it was okay because I told the truth." Olivia smiled, feeling proud of her little brother and of herself. She had learned the hard way that the truth could be difficult, but it was always worth it. Lies might seem like an easy way out, but they only led to more problems and more pain. As Olivia continued through high school, she carried that lesson with her. She still had her ups and downs, but one thing remained constant: she always chose to speak the truth. And in doing so, she discovered that honesty didn't just strengthen her relationships with others, it gave her the confidence to be true to herself. The web of lies she had once been trapped in was gone, replaced by a life where the truth, no matter how difficult, was the path to real freedom.